Welcome back to the Stretch the Floor podcast. I'm Matt, and I am here with Venush to talk some more bubble basketball. The first week and a half of the NBA bubble has been nothing short of awesome. All the drama and the unreal performances of a normal regular season, maybe even more. But if you can believe it, we are only a few days away from the 2020 NBA playoffs. And although all the matchups, especially in the West, aren't 100% set yet, especially that eight seed. That eight seed is going to go down to the absolute last minute of the last game of the season. We're going to get into the a preview of the whole playoffs today. We're just going to go over every matchup, all the possibilities for the different matchups that are going to happen in the West, because that's going to go down to the wire, like we just said. But yeah, the playoffs are so close, and I'm like so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, especially that 8 seed.
Yeah, like New Orleans just got officially eliminated yesterday,
Same with
and
the
that was
Kings.
and they were probably the most talked about team on ESPN for the
hmm
first 2 months leading up to the bubble. So I
Yeah,
mean, no one expected DeMar DeRozan and Derek White to be leading the Spurs to
yeah.
not losing that streak. But
Power forward DeMar DeRozan.
yeah,
Different
yeah.
gravy.
I mean, we had him on our small forward rankings,
Yeah,
and maybe we got to reconsider that. Maybe he's a
as a
top.
power forward.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll start with the Eastern Conference because that is the most set in stone right now.
Yeah,
Let's just start with let's just go like 1-8,
1-8.
2-7,
Yeah.
and so on.
So Bucks sweep the Magic or the Nets. Do you
Yeah, well,
kind of make?
actually, it got locked in yesterday that
Oh, so it
the
is the
Raptors.
Magic.
Yeah, it's the Magics. So that's
Okay.
a sweep with Jonathan Isaac. Maybe it's a sweep with a margin of victory of 12 instead of 17 for the Bucks,
Yeah.
but it's still a sweep. What
The
else can we say?
Raptors are sweeping the Nets as well. So those two series are kind of boring.
Very boring series. And
Yeah.
even though Pascal Siakam has been struggling a lot in the bubble, there's just not one player on that team who can
Hurt
even
him.
slow him down, even when he's struggling.
Yeah.
Like we saw Jalen Brown in that matchup with the Celtics on Friday. Actually, like you called it, you said Jalen Brown would guard
Yeah.
Siakam in the last episode, and I was like, no, there's no way. He's just gonna back him down, use his length, and it didn't happen. But
It did not
to be
happen.
fair, he couldn't even score against like Anthony Tolliver on Memphis.
Yeah.
So
Well, another
I don't
thing
know.
is, even that 3-6 matchup is kind of boring in my opinion too. Celtics versus 76ers, because Ben Simmons is not
Yeah,
playing.
sucks
Joel
so bad,
Embiid's
man.
Joel Embiid's probably gonna play less than 30 minutes with that new ankle injury.
Mm-hmm.
So the Celtics are pretty much gonna run them like out of the gym pretty quickly, in my opinion. I could see
I
that going 5 games max.
I agree.
Yeah,
I want to see like assuming Embiid's healthy, I want to see him just like demand the ball in the post possession after possession after possession. But with Brett Brown, I don't know cuz like you made an interesting point the other day when you said that even without Ben Simmons, even without
hmm
Embiid, that could be like a 6 seed team
yeah,
with a good coach.
yeah.
And with both of them, there's probably still like a first or second round exit with Brett Brown
hmm
coaching. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is Brett Brown's last year, in my opinion.
It
I'll be
has to be.
so
It
surprised
has to be.
because if you look at a team of Al Horford, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, Matisse, and Shake Milton,
Mm-hmm.
if you give those 5 players to like a Greg Popovich in the East,
Or Nick Nurse.
I'm saying that's still a 6 seed. And then
Yeah,
Brett Brown had Simmons and Embiid on top of that, and it's only a
exactly.
6 seed.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's done in my opinion this
he
year.
has to be.
Yeah.
But so I'm just. What do you think? Do you think our opinion of Embiid is going to change at all in this series? Like, because the Celtics are a team that he could go off against if he really wanted to. Do you think? What do you think we're going to see from Embiid?
Yeah, so this is not Embiid of last year. I don't know why, because he's
Yeah.
still in his prime ages. But Embiid last year averaged close to 26. This year he's
Mm-hmm.
averaging close to 23. I don't know what's happening to him this year. I personally think it's the loss of JJ Redick. Just that
Mm-hmm.
lack of shooting is just it's
Yeah.
just
Well, I mean,
hard for him to
playing
operate.
beside Al Horford for most of the year until they
Yeah.
decided to switch it up probably
Yeah,
wasn't great for him.
like
Um,
substituting JJ Redick to Al Horford is such a huge change.
huge, such a huge
That just
change.
it's just not
But
gonna
I
work
mean,
for the game.
like you said, if the lineup right now is Embiid and then Thibault, Richardson, Tobias Harris, and Shake Milton, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like that's a pretty good team to put around Embiid in terms of spacing and wing
Do
defenders.
you, do you trust Dybul and Josh Richardson to shoot good every night in the series?
I used to trust Josh Richardson to shoot,
He
but
had a really good last game. We have to give him credit for that. He did
yeah,
score like 6 threes and dropped
yeah,
like 34 points. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like them as shooters. And I just, if you don't have shooters around Embiid and Simmons, they're just going to be like trapped and they're not going to operate. So I just can't see that team going anywhere. I think they need huge trades. I think
I
s- I think
mean,
I think Al
yeah.
Horford has to leave. Get Kevin Love in there,
So
stuff like that.
you're not calling for to break up the process. You're
No,
calling
no, no.
for Al Horford and maybe Tobias Harris
Tobias Harris. Yeah,
to be
I
out of
want
town.
shooters on that
Yeah,
team.
Kevin Love. You brought up Kevin Love, and that's interesting
Yeah,
because this week a report surfaced that the Cavs were interested in Ben Simmons. So
yeah.
like,
Not for Ben Simmons. That's not happening.
but no, there's no way.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like they're thinking the same way. Kevin Love to the, but yeah, no, there's no way Ben Simmons. I agree.
okay.
Don't break up Ben Simmons and Embiid. You got to break up
Yeah,
Al Horford and Brett Brown is what
yeah,
has to change there.
100%.
Yeah,
So
and
now the most important and interesting matchup is the 5-4.
yeah,
The Heat versus
100%.
Pacers. The TJ Warren and Jimmy Butler beef.
T.J. Warren, Jimmy Butler beef. I
Bubble
think.
MVP TJ Warren.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They're
bubble
playing today.
T.J. Warren or Devin Booker is the bubble MVP. Devin
Ooh,
Booker just led the Suns to a comeback victory. They won by 20 after being down by like 16.
okay,
Um,
okay. Devin Booker's probably the MVP, and TJ Warren's probably the most improved player for
Sure.
the bubble.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're both playing today, so it determines who gets home court in
Mm. Yeah.
in
Who
the
gets the virtual
seed,
fans?
who gets the
Um.
virtual fans.
Yeah.
I don't know about this
So
Miami team, man. They're
really,
very
because you were
banged
high
up
on
right
them.
now.
You were high on them a week ago, last
Oh yeah,
episode.
if they're healthy, I'm 100% high on them. But Jimmy Butler hasn't played in what, 3 games?
Yeah.
Goran Dragic hasn't played in 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I
Kendrick
mean,
Nunn is not even half the player he was before the bubble.
I agree.
Uh, like they're just banged up,
I
and
mean, they're playing tonight, like you said.
yeah,
Um. I should know. I'm actually not 100% sure if Butler is playing or not today. Um.
uh, I don't think he's playing today. I don't think Kendrick Nunn's playing today, and I don't think Goran Dragic is also
Yeah,
not playing today.
all the literally every player is resting today. Like that OKC Suns game that the Suns
Mm,
ended up winning by a bunch was not very fun to watch because Aiton didn't play for the first half because he missed his coronavirus test and then he came back because he got it. It
yeah,
was kind of weird. And then basically the whole team for OKC didn't play. Doncic didn't play for the Mavericks, who are up by 1 right now on Utah, and Donovan Mitchell isn't playing. Giannis isn't playing
yeah,
for the Bucks. Fred VanVleet and Ibaka aren't playing for the Raptors, so it's
and
not a very fun day in the NBA.
Kyle Lowry's a game time decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about the Pacers that's surprising me is no Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
So they're showing that this one center lineup is working a lot better.
Yeah.
And could that mean a trade for Miles Turner in the
I
possible
was
future?
just thinking about that today because I mean, if they face Miami in the first round and TJ Warren goes back to being like a 12-point scorer or whatever, I mean,
Or
he had a
20 point
okay,
scorer.
okay.
Yeah.
If he doesn't look like Kawhi Leonard like he is right now,
Yeah.
um, then I don't know if they do anything. But if he does look like actually perform in the playoffs, then I think they have to move off one of those centers, and Sabonis obviously has to be the guy you keep, right?
Yeah. He's too good to move off, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The offensive impact he has is like it's his second best out of centers right in last season. I know people are going to talk about Embiid, but
Mm-hmm.
he really didn't perform as well. So like after Jokic, it kind of was Sabonis as the best
At
offensive
least
center.
offensively, yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
because Cat was injured most of the year, so I didn't count him. Embiid just sucked last year, so I didn't really count him too. So yeah, like Sabonis is too good to move, and Miles Turner can get you a lot of value because
Mm-hmm.
if you pair him alongside any star power forward that can't shoot, he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the perfect person to pair along because he could shoot three, play
Yeah.
play good defense, but
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't clog the paint.
Yeah.
So having him next to someone like a Zion
Mm,
could be very desirable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm really interested to see how this Pacer team, because we both had this team just completely written off in our
Yeah.
bubble preview. I mean, we don't, if going back and listening to that right now wouldn't be very fun, because we both had the Suns as just
Yeah.
theirs.
Yeah.
Pacers, I think we said they were going to be first round, maybe sweep, without Sabonis,
Yeah.
and we look stupid right now. But who could have predicted this TJ Warren thing? Like, he just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Um,
The TJ Warren is amazing right now. He's insane. He's probably the best
completely insane.
first team
All
all
bubble.
bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, first team all bubble would be Lillard, Booker, TJ Warren, um,
Uh
Michael Porter
Giannis.
Jr.,
Ooh, Michael Porter Jr.
Giannis
Yeah.
hasn't played enough.
Yeah.
Um, and then who would be the five?
Jokic. Yeah, he's playing all right.
Possibly, maybe even DeAndre Ayton. Honestly, he's playing so well.
Yeah, he's playing really well.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like who could have predicted? I mean, Dame, obvious choice for. I knew he was going to go off in the bubble. Um, yeah. So that Miami Indiana
Oh,
matchup is
Nurkic.
interesting. Oh yeah, okay, maybe honestly Nurkic.
Honestly,
Yeah,
Nurkic, yeah.
yeah. But that Jimmy Butler TJ Warren beef is going to be really fun to watch. Hopefully Butler's okay and actually is just kind of resting up for the playoffs. The Eastern
Yeah.
Conference is not nearly as exciting as the West
What was your
in the
prediction for
playoffs.
that Heat Pacers? I say Heat in six though.
That sounds good to me. Heat in 6. I don't see it going 7. I don't see the Heat winning in 5.
Yeah, so
Um,
we still have all the top four seeds going through before game seven, that's for
yeah,
sure.
if the like even without Sabonis, like if they just had like Jeremy Lamb, I might think it could go
Yeah,
7. Because
yeah,
but without him, without Sabonis, I don't know.
yeah.
Even though
So we
TJ,
could
we know Jimmy Butler is going to try his absolute hardest to lock down TJ Warren in
TJ
that series,
Warren, yeah,
right? He's going to try to hold him to like
yeah.
8 points a game. So
And Iguodala too. Iguodala, Jay
yeah,
Crowder. That's a
yeah,
lot of good wing defenders.
yeah. Like Jimmy Butler
Yeah,
will be happy if he averages 3 points, but locks down TJ Warren in that series.
yeah.
So
So we could do the second round quickly of the East too, just
sure.
give our predictions. So it'll be
Hmm.
Bucks Heat. I think Bucks in six. I give Bam 2 games. See how I said Bam, not Jimmy Butler, because Bam's gonna be the most important
Okay.
player in that series.
Bucks in 6. I would probably go with Bucks in 5. But I mean,
Oh wow,
man,
really?
like they played the Heat without Jimmy Butler and barely won. It went down to the fourth quarter and they did pull away. But I'm not really
Yeah.
judging the Bucks based on the bubble because they don't look like they've been putting in that much effort. Giannis has
No,
barely played. They've been resting
Giannis is yeah,
a lot of their guys, and I think Giannis is just going to be like on a mission in these playoffs. I don't think Bam's going to slow him down. Maybe one game. I'll give Bam one game, but I would go with Bucks in 5 honestly because
right. And then the
I
Raps.
think he hears that like the Stephen A's and all those
Yeah,
people
yeah,
saying that the Miami's coming, Jimmy Butler's coming to shut them down, and I
yeah.
don't think he's gonna have time for that.
I just give him six because Bam's almost a defensive player a year,
Yeah.
and I think he'll have 2 really good games against Giannis, where the Heat could pull through.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I still can't see them winning in this series.
No.
How about the Raps and Celtics? That's the
Raps
most
Celtics.
interesting one.
That is, yeah, definitely probably the most interesting matchup that could go either way. I say Raptors. I think you say Celtics.
Yeah,
Um.
I am a Raptors fan, but I just
Yeah.
can't see this team.
Now.
Once you take out Kyle Lowry, this Raptors team kind of sucks. I'm gonna be honest. When Kyle Lowry's not performing, this Raptors team is not good. So when you have Marcus Smart, the best point guard defender since Gary Payton, on Kyle Lowry, he's gonna. That's the Raptors team's not gonna win a lot. I think. I honestly think it's a 6 game. Six. I cannot see that even going 7.
Well,
I think Celtics in 6.
my Raptors pick doesn't look too good after what happened on Friday,
Yeah.
but I still stand by it. I don't think Siakam could have looked any worse than he did in that game. Like
Mhm.
it's not like he was trying to go up against Jalen Brown and just failed. He was just taking like dumb shots. He looks really not confident so far in the bubble. I don't know if that's just his conditioning or what. I'm hoping that after one playoff series and all these seeding games, maybe he gets that confidence up. And I agree with you about Kyle Lowry. Uh,
Yeah.
but Fred VanVleet has been going off. He's been their best player, I think, hands down in the bubble right now.
Ooh.
he looks like a different player. He's not just splashing threes. He's like getting to the cup and he's getting to the line and dishing out assists and stuff. And Serge Ibaka was so bad against the Celtics. He barely even played. Nick Nurse wouldn't even play him. He was playing so badly. I just think I think I don't maybe 7. I can see it going 7. I would
Yeah.
say Raps in either 6 or 7. Honestly.
See, the reason I'm so high on the Celtics is because they have two guys that are like,
Mm-hmm.
just go win us the game. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
people keep forgetting Kemba Walker. If Kemba Walker could get you 6 points, like back to
Oh,
back to back, you know what I
easy.
mean? He's a bucket getter.
Yeah.
Like Raptors rely so much on Lowry to set up all the offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you take him out of the game,
Yeah.
the flow is so disrupted that it's just Fred VanVleet, I'm gonna go shoot. Siakam, I'm gonna shoot. Fred
Mm-hmm.
VanVleet, I'm gonna shoot. And it's just so easy to guard because it's just they're alternating, and that's not how they play. So
Well, yeah.
I think the Celtics team locks them up, and it's just a bad matchup for the Raptors.
The thing is with the Celtics is they're all almost the same size,
Yeah,
and if you watch that game on Friday,
they just switch.
they switched everything, right? Like, oh, Pascal got a switch onto Tice or Gordon Hayward or Jason Tatum, or Kyle will get switched onto Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. It like they can pretty much all guard any position decently
Mhm.
well. And the Raptors, the way they generate their offense is, draw the defense, kick it out to one of the shooters or someone who attacks a closeout or something. And when they're just switching straight up and forcing each guy to create their own shot, and that's the Raptors' biggest weakness, like you pointed out last week. They don't have that guy who can just give me the ball. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
go create a bucket myself. So, but like I said, I don't think Siakam could have played any worse than he did in that game. I don't think Ibaka could have played any worse. And they missed open three after open three after open three. And I think if it weren't for 2 back-to-back corner threes by Daniel Tice,
but Daniel Dice,
the
big
Raptors
three.
were pulling within range of the Celtics. So I don't
Yeah,
know if a couple things go differently, maybe that game's a little closer. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm definitely really interested, just from a basketball fan perspective, to see that series for sure.
yeah. And then we obviously have the Bucks going to the finals
Obviously,
in like
obviously.
6 games, either the Celtics or the Raptors. We don't think they could. We think they could give a good fight, maybe upset
Six.
them.
I think for
Yeah,
both teams, 6 games is a fair
yeah.
prediction.
We just think
I
Giannis is too good.
I think the Raptors are better built defensively to handle the Bucks, but I think the Celtics are better offensively
Offensively.
against the Bucks.
Yeah,
But ultimately, both teams are going to be most likely 6 games. If everything goes right and they're just hitting a bunch of shots, maybe 7.
maybe
But
7.
it's going to be Bucks no matter what, I think.
Yeah.
So moving on to the West, we got to talk about the play-in right off the top. As it stands, Memphis is still barely holding on to that 8 seed. A half game up on Portland, 1 game up on the Spurs, and 1.5 up on Phoenix. New
Mhm.
Orleans, like we said, and Sacramento are officially out, and apparently they're just going to be leaving the bubble immediately. Not even going to finish up the rest of their games.
August 12th, no? They're leaving the bubble.
Oh, is
Correct me
that
if
right?
I'm wrong. Yeah, I think if they're playing other contenders like the Mavericks, or if it matters for seeding, they'll still play their game.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But
Yeah.
who would
So
you want? That's the
who
question.
who do I want? I
Yeah.
want Portland to be in the playoffs because I think they have the best chance against the Lakers, and I want to see
Mhm.
Dame drop 51 in the playoffs like he just did yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh, but as a Raptors fan, I love DeMar DeRozan, and I want to see him in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
And I don't want that Spurs streak to end, and
Hmm.
I know you don't want it either. But then I also
Yeah.
want Devin Booker in the playoffs because I think he deserves it. He's playing unreal right now, and I think I really want to see him in that playoff spot. But I would
Okay.
probably go with Portland.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go with the Spurs because I don't think any of these teams are beating the Lakers realistically. I know
Yeah,
people are saying the Trailblazers can.
I don't think they
Charles
will.
Barkley. I don't think they will. I
I
think
just
it'll
think
be.
every other team's a sweep, and the Portland is like maybe 6.
I still think it's like a 4 or 5
Really?
game. Yeah, because I don't think anyone on that Portland team can match up against LeBron.
No, definitely
It's
not.
gonna have to be Melo, and you think Melo can do a decent job on LeBron? I
I don't.
highly doubt that.
You never know. This is skinny bubble mellow.
So I'd rather just have the Spurs get in there, keep their streak alive, something to talk about next year if they lose it or not.
That's fair.
Yeah, and
And
then I like the Trailblazer teams, but they just need more wing defenders, and I think they're going to address that in the offseason because what Hassan Whiteside's contract coming out off the
mhm,
books, Trevor Ariza coming back next year, so they're just going to get more wing defenders and get better
yeah,
versatile guards too.
yeah.
So they'll be interesting next year, but this year they're not doing anything against the Lakers.
What about the 6-0 Phoenix Suns?
The Phoenix Suns are great. They're probably the best bubble team,
Yeah.
but do you really think Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges are going to stop LeBron James?
No. And I
No.
and Eaton has looked good defensively so far in the bubble, but Anthony Davis
Hmm.
is a different story altogether.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, I think they would be swept easily by the Lakers. I think Portland is the only team that can even, if Dame just explodes, uh,
Hmm.
that can give them any trouble. And I just want Dame. I mean, like I want Dame to earn that spot. I want DeRozan to earn that spot, and I want Devin Booker to earn that spot. Like I'd be happy with any of those guys getting in right now.
Yeah.
And I also love Memphis
John
too.
Morant. Yeah.
So I
John
mean, I'd
Morant.
be pretty happy with any of them. But Memphis does
Yeah.
not look good right now. Does
Memphis
not
looks
look good.
horrible right now.
So
They had
bad.
a good game against the Raptors, to be
They
fair
played
to
pretty
them.
well, but Marc Gasol held the guy who he got traded for to 0 points. He dropped a Joel
Yeah.
Embiid on him. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
but I.
It's tough. It's tough. I
Mhm.
just the Trailblazers, people are saying they stand a chance against the Lakers because of their quick guards and how much threes they could put up.
And how much
But
Nurkic has improved, or how good Nurkic looks since he
mhm.
came back.
But Nurkic is gonna get completely shut down by Dwight or JaVale McGee with the help of Anthony Davis.
I agree.
Anthony Davis is going to be able to play the four because Zach Collins is kind of
Mhm.
still
Mhm.
big. He's still like in the paint too much
Mhm.
where
Yep.
there's just so much paint defense.
Yep.
Uh, LeBron's going to be having a nice, easy time with Melo because Melo's kind of a catch and shoot player at this stage of his career.
Mhm.
And then if Rondo returns, we know how much trouble Rondo's caused, even Dame
In the
back in the time.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't think that's a good matchup for the Trailblazers. If they could slide up to the like 6th seed somehow, then I would have them even like going into the second round because I think they
I
could beat
agree.
any. I think they could beat the Nuggets, Rockets,
And
Thunder,
yeah,
Jazz.
any team outside of the LA teams, I would pick
Yeah,
Portland. I would probably give Portland the third best team in the West right now.
yeah.
Um,
It just sucks that they have to play the Lakers.
it just sucks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, what are your predictions? Like, hey, so you're
Lakers in
saying
5, no matter who comes
no
in,
matter
and
who it is, Lakers in five.
I think the person who's gonna make it is the Trailblazers,
Mm-hmm.
but I want the Spurs to make it.
Yeah, that DeMar DeRozan at the four experiment. I'm
It's
just
crazy.
wondering if that's going to continue in his career. Or is that just a Greg Popovich thing, survival tactic to keep that streak alive? I'm not really sure. Is it gonna our team's gonna figure it out soon, and is it gonna stop working so well? Jakob
The
Poeltl
one
is playing so well for them too, another former Raptor.
Yeah, if Jakob didn't get in foul trouble,
Mm-hmm.
he could have probably been in All NBA first team bubble
Yeah,
because the
honestly.
limited minutes he plays, he's always plus like 14, 15
Mm-hmm.
for the Spurs, and he's so huge. It's just that he keeps getting in foul trouble,
Mm-hmm.
which hopefully you fix that, throughout
Yeah,
by next season.
and so I'm just wondering, has DeRozan's performance in the bubble changed how you think he's going to go about his free agency? Is that going to affect because he has a player option after
No,
this year?
he's opting in. No one's
Yeah,
paying him close to 28
yeah,
million. I think he's a. I'd be surprised if he gets over 14 a year.
14,
So
really?
that's 2 years worth of salary in 1 year. I think he's taking that, and I think he's gonna get traded too next year. Because if
Yeah, I agree.
the Spurs haven't had a lottery pick like in
Mm-hmm.
our lifetime, so
Yeah,
the, they could do something crazy. And I don't know, man. I would love to see like a Lamelo Ball with Greg Popovich. That would be very fun to watch. So yeah, the Spurs are just as long as Greg Popovich is there, they're a fun team to watch.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Okay, so right as it stands right now, the 2-7 matchup is
is locked.
Clippers and Dallas. Now, the Clippers are one game up on the Nuggets currently, but I
Hmm.
don't see them slipping down. We'll just call
Yeah,
that a lock.
yeah,
Because I think the Clippers really really want to play Dallas in the first round too, because
yeah.
they don't match up as well against Utah
Hmm.
than they do against Dallas. Even though Dallas is a better team than Utah, I think.
Yeah,
Um, I just think Kawhi and Paul George would do a really really good job on Luka,
yeah.
and I think that would I'm calling like
I'm
four
calling
or
a
five,
sweep.
four or
Oh yeah,
five. Yeah.
it's a sweep in my opinion. I think when Luka Doncic has to verse Kawhi, Paul George, Patrick Beverly, like in alternating fashion, he's
Mm-hmm.
never gonna be able to figure that out because there's so much different looks on him.
Yeah.
And then if he's not dropping 30 and 20, if
19
it's
assists.
yeah, like
Yeah. Now,
they're not
like
gonna
to
win.
to be fair, I kind of called him out last episode and said that his stats looked really good so far in the bubble, but he wasn't playing well and he wasn't playing efficiently.
Hmm.
Basically he dropped like 40 and 20 every game since I said that.
Yeah.
Um, but I just think the Clippers are the absolute worst possible matchup for that team. And
Hmm.
like we said last week, Porzingis can be guarded by like a 6'7", 6'8" Paul George because he doesn't post up.
Yeah.
And if you take out Porzingis and you give Luka Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to guard him, I don't think those other guys on the roster can step up and get it done.
Yeah. It's gonna be an easy sweep.
Easy
Uh,
sweep.
the, I think the Mavericks are just hoping the Nuggets win out the rest of their games.
Hmm.
I think that's
Yeah,
just that's
that
the
would
only thing
be
they can
a
hope on.
lot more fun as a matchup because I don't think the Nuggets have one guy who can do anything to Luka.
Yeah,
And
I think Porzingis matches up well against Jokic too.
mhm, yeah,
Maybe not strength wise, but he's very long and get in those passing lanes, get a lot of steals.
and force
That's gonna
Jokic to
be
come out and try to guard people in space in the perimeter, I think
yeah,
would be a big
it's gonna
thing.
be yeah, that'll be very interesting.
Yeah,
But that's not gonna happen.
but
So
I don't think that's happening. Yeah,
yeah, but it's good experience. That's what people have to realize.
yeah.
This is
Second year. We're treating him
Luka's
like he's
second year.
a 5 6 year veteran who has
Yeah,
failed in the playoffs before. He's never been there before. Second year.
yeah, it's just experience for him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, this is where it gets all over the place right now.
Hmm.
As it stands, Denver is in the third seed, pretty comfortably in the third seed, a game and a half up
Hmm.
on Houston. So we'll call them a lock for the third seed, and
Yeah.
they would be playing Utah as of now,
Uh-huh.
um, as of recording, but that could easily change in like 20 minutes. Uh, so because Utah is only a half game up, half game behind OKC, and only a game and a half back of Houston. So let's just talk about that Denver Utah matchup first.
Yeah, this is probably Utah's worst matchup. I think Utah gets swept here because
Really,
we're just gonna bring out uh
Gobert, bring him out
Gobert.
all the way to the 3 point line.
And then he's just gonna pass dimes to cutters
Yeah,
to
yeah.
off-screen balls, and
Mm-hmm.
like they're gonna put Tony Craig and all these like small gritty defenders on Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if they'll slow him down, but they'll definitely
Yeah,
try their best. And then they don't have a Bogdanovich to help bail out Donovan Mitchell in some
mm-hmm.
situations. So I just can't see this team. Honestly, I can't see this team. I think they're the worst playoff team in the West, the Jazz.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, man. Like Gobert is a problem when he's parked in the paint
Hmm.
and guards and wings are trying to drive at him. But
Yeah.
when he is going to have to come out and try to guard Jokic in space, and they're just going to be running all this crazy stuff with Jokic finding cutters, like you said, and doing stuff off the dribble, that's going to be a nightmare for them. And the only like elite thing that team has going for them right now is Gobert's rim protection. And
Hmm.
if you take that out of the equation, I agree. They're a 4 or 5 game first round exit.
Yeah. So the other possible matchup for the Nuggets is Thunder, which
Mm-hmm.
is a 7 game series in my opinion.
7 games.
Because that's the point guard, the best 6 foot point guard ever versus the best 7 foot point guard ever in Jokic versus Chris Paul. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the battle of the best point guards with the most like difference in height. It's gonna be such a fun game series to
That yeah,
watch.
I agree with that. And I think Steven Adams.
I think
can
he'll do
do.
well.
I think he can do a better job than Gobert
Yeah,
guarding Jokic.
yeah,
And
because
yeah,
I think he has no
got more quicks.
offensive
Yeah,
and he has no offensive responsibilities.
exactly.
So that'll be his only thing on
Hmm.
defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah. So like, do you think they go with that three guard lineup a lot
yeah,
in that series? Yeah,
yeah. I think so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying Thunder in seven just because I don't like this Nuggets team because they're still trying to. I don't
Hmm.
like their Nuggets team as in like they're still trying to develop young talent,
Hmm.
even though they're the third seed. Like they still play ball like 12 to 15 minutes a game to get them some
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
They give Michael Porter Jr. 25 shots a
Hmm.
game to get him. He's
Yeah,
doing well, but they give him
really
25
well.
shots a game to make sure he improves. So they're just trying to get better for next
Hmm.
year. I think that's going to cost them in a 7 game series.
See, I honestly, I'm kind of going back and forth on this one because I think either Chris Paul or Shea or Schroeder can give Jamal Murray a lot of trouble. On the
Hmm.
defensive end. I mean,
Yeah,
like give him defensively trouble, and then I
yeah,
think they can. I think Chris Paul can shut him down because Chris Paul is still a
easy.
ridiculous defender.
Yeah,
But I also think that Michael Porter Jr. might be able to give Gallo some trouble if he continues to play like this. Because Gallo, a lot of the times, can hide. You can hide him on defense, but I don't. I think he would be pretty much directly matched up with MPJ, and if MPJ continues to play like he is right now, I don't know if that'd be a lot of fun for Gallo.
but can't Gallinari just score as much on MPJ? MPJ
Possibly.
sucks defensively right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
That's fair.
and
And
Gallinari is proven 20-point scorer back-to-back years.
mhm.
He's a shooter, and he's got Chris Paul and Shea feeding him the ball. He's gonna go off this series.
Yeah, so what do you expect from Shea in this series? Do you think we kind of
Oh
see Shea start to turn into that like one number one type of guy, or do you think it's just Chris
no,
Paul and Gallo just driving the bus for this team?
I think Gallinari has such a favorable matchup. So does Chris Paul
Mhm.
that they're just gonna be dominating the ball. I think Shea's still gonna get 18, 19 points a game, but I just don't see like a tick up in his production because both Chris Paul and Gallinari have bad defenders on them, and they're gonna take advantage of that because
Mhm.
Jamal Murray and
Yeah.
MPJ aren't the greatest defenders.
Yeah. And another player who's actually been having a kind of low key really good bubble is Darius Baisley for OKC.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you can just come off the bench, give them some
do
more
something.
depth, do
Yeah,
something off the bench, then yeah. But I don't like betting against Jokic because I think he had a really good playoffs last year, and I think he's gonna want to like I think he's gonna be hungry, and he's one of the most fun players to watch in the league for me. So I would probably go with Denver, but in seven. Yeah, I think it's going seven, like you said. I'm
yeah,
gonna just pick Denver because I think Jokic is just gonna be a machine.
yeah.
Because
I mean,
I don't think you can give him too much trouble defensively either. Because like you said, Steven Adams has like zero offensive responsibility. It's not like you're gonna be attacking Jokic in the pick and roll too much, right?
but the thing is, how can Jokic like who he's gonna pass to? Because he's a pass first guy, and
Oh, 100%.
all his options and weapons are gonna be guarded really well. So like, it's not like Jokic is gonna go out there and be like, all right,
Hmm.
I'm gonna win this game, drop 45, and like just walk out there. You know what I mean?
Are they going to be guarded really well though? Because Chris Paul, like we said, obviously is insane. But Gallo, I think Shea is not quite there yet as a defender. I think he's going to be really
What?
good.
You really don't
But
think Shea? I think Shea's the second best defender in this series.
I mean, the individual defenders on the Nuggets aren't that good.
Yeah,
So
Tony Craig's the best defender, and then Paul
yeah,
Millsap. So I can't see that
okay,
happening.
yeah. I
Yeah,
you might be right, but that's going to be such a fun series if that happens. I kind of want that to happen now.
yeah, I
Now
wish it happens too.
Houston is kind of the wild card in this situation. They're not going to go up to three like we said, but
Hmm.
they're probably not dropping down to six. They could drop down to five.
Yeah,
So you want to just talk that 4-5 matchup now?
I think okay. So Houston sweeps the Jazz if they somehow
Mm-hmm.
make the 5 seed. We don't even need to
100%.
talk about that. We've
100%.
seen that happen so many times
Yeah.
that it's played
He's
out.
like James Harden is the LeBron to Utah's Toronto Raptors,
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan Toronto Raptors.
And then I think the Houston absolutely destroy the Thunder as well.
You think it's a sweep?
I don't think it's a sweep. I think five. I'll give Chris Paul six because he's such a amazing point guard. I'll give him six, but I can't see them doing anything.
Yeah, because
They don't have.
I don't know how much you can play Steven Adams in that series,
Yeah.
and so it would be fun to see Gallo at the five. I think that's would be a fun experiment to see.
Hmm.
Um,
But
but
Robert
I
Covington's
I don't
locking up Gallo.
yeah, and I don't think that the like Shea is quite ready. I don't think Shea and Schroeder are quite there at the level to just go bucket for bucket with Houston because those are gonna be
Yeah.
high scoring, high paced games, and I
Yeah.
don't think they're at that level yet to just go bucket, 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 bucket. You know,
I
so
I
you're
think
probably
this
right.
I think this is the Shea series if it happens though,
Mm,
because Chris Paul, they Houston knows who Chris Paul is. They're
yep.
gonna put Westbrook on him, and Westbrook's by far the best guard defender on that team, and he's gonna
Not really
cause.
saying much, but yeah.
But he's a lot better when he tries than James Harden.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So
I mean,
Chris Paul's gonna defer to, and Robert Covington's gonna lock up Gallinari. So Chris Paul's gonna defer to Shea and be like, "Hey man, you have to get us a bucket on James Harden because
mhm,
that's the best way to tire out James Harden
mhm.
and make him bad in future games." So we could see some huge games for Shea in that loss. And as a Canadian, man, I kind of want that series to happen because Shea could be dropping like 40 points a game, and I'll be so sick to watch.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. And yeah, that this playoffs for Shea kind of has that feeling of like he's gonna lose, it's gonna end in disappointment. But I think the
Yeah.
opinion of him going into next year might be even higher than it is right now,
Hmm.
especially if that series happens. So you're right.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Donovan Mitchell's first year when he was a
Mm,
rookie and he went into
yeah,
those playoffs.
but then he just kept
And
running into James Harden. So
yeah, but everyone, when he first went into that playoffs, that's like when he solidified himself as a
mhm,
star. Yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
in the second round, so you have the Lakers versus the Rockets, so do I. And then you have the Clippers versus the Nuggets, and I have the Clippers versus the
mhm.
Thunder.
Okay,
So we could talk about
so
Lakers Rockets.
all right, Lakers Rockets is kind of the series that I think everyone in the world wants to see happen. I I'd still go Lakers. Lakers in six.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
have the
know.
exact same. I see
Lakers in
Lakers in
six.
6-2 because I think Anthony Davis is going to average 45 points a game. I think
Yeah.
I think LeBron James is going to average 40 points a game, but James Harden's also going to average 45 points a game.
Yeah. And Westbrook's gonna average like 38.
Yeah, but the thing is, I just think the Lakers are going to have better defense and they're going to be able to slow the
I
game
agree.
down.
I agree.
And I think once playoffs comes and fouls start getting called less and James
Mm-hmm.
Harden has to shoot less free throws and shoot more jumpers, I think that's just gonna shift into the Lakers' advantage,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're gonna pull it out in 6 games, 6 or 7. Because you rarely see this Lakers team being in foul trouble. Because I don't want to say it's the LeBron effect, but when you have LeBron James on your team, the refs kind of favor their team,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's gonna be tough.
Only thing I wonder is like what is the Lakers depth gonna look like in that series? Because you can't play JaVale McGee and you can't play Dwight Howard.
Yeah, so
Like
they're gonna be better. Finally, they're gonna play Anthony Davis at the 5, which is
yeah.
finally which everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma is improving every
Uh-huh.
single game. Danny Green, if he hits a shot, this Lakers team's gonna get 10 times better.
Oh yeah.
But he's also the best defender by far, maybe on the Lakers to guard James Harden.
Oh, by far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think that's a good defensive backcourt that people are underestimating. Rondo and Danny
Rondo.
Green,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
could lock down, not lock them
No,
down,
no,
but
they're
they
not
could definitely,
locking down. They're gonna give them more trouble than anyone else that they would see in the playoffs.
yeah.
Probably.
Other than the Clippers,
Other than the
yeah,
Clippers, yeah. Or maybe the
yeah,
Bucks. Um, like if they ever made it that far. But
yeah.
yeah. So Lakers in six. So you think the Lakers are just gonna defensively overwhelm the
Yeah, slow the
Rockets
game
because
down.
the Lakers, like you said, are a very disciplined team, especially if AD is
Hmm.
playing at the 5, and
Yeah,
he's not going to commit these dumb fouls on James Harden that a lot of guys do. And
yeah,
Danny Green, like you said, is one of the best defenders in the Western Conference to put on James Harden because you can just match him in size, and he's a veteran. He knows what to do. He knows how to
yeah.
defend in the big moments. And if he
Hmm.
just hits like like a couple more shots a game, like he's literally like making 0% of his threes right now. If
Yeah,
he starts hitting just a few shots, um, that just makes the Lakers look completely different. And I agree, it's Lakers in 6, but that would be a really
yeah,
fun series.
yeah. So we have either Nuggets or Thunder going up against the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Sweep? Is that
Sweep
a
against the
sweep?
sweep against the Thunder, I think.
Yeah,
Um, and I think it's
5 against the
5
Nuggets.
against the Nuggets.
Yeah, they're just bad. This team is just too good defensively,
Mm-hmm.
where you can't get your guards to start going because they have so much defensive wings to alternate.
Just throw at you.
Pat,
Yeah.
Pat Bev, Kawhi, Paul George.
Someone gets in foul trouble, doesn't matter. Next guy up,
Yeah,
whatever.
and
You know,
for the Nuggets, if if Jokic is aggressive, this could be a 7 game series.
that's what I'm saying. I think Jokic is going to go off. But even if he averages like 30, 33, 34, I just don't think the Nuggets are going to be able to get anything else from anyone else on that team.
If Jokic is average 34, that might be a 7 game series. But Jokic is not going to average 30. He's going to average 25 because that's an aggressive Jokic.
Sure.
Yeah, like he needs to be more aggressive. And I think this is a series. If he makes it here, he's going to realize. I think we're going to see a change in Jokic in next
Mm,
year, where he's a little more aggressive, a little more MVP level.
I hope
So
so.
yeah, this is a good experience for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So all roads come down to Lakers Clippers in the
yeah.
conference finals.
I
As
changed my
right,
opinion.
yeah,
I'm going Clippers.
I'm going
I
Clippers
changed.
too. I'm going
Yeah.
Clippers too. I just think their depth uh is too much for the Lakers,
Hmm.
especially. I mean, Rondo will be back at that point,
Yeah.
but Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell off the bench is going to be a problem. By that point, LeBron is going to have played so many minutes in the
Yeah.
playoffs
Yeah.
that I'm not going to say he's going to be gassed because it's LeBron James, but he's not like he's going to have a lot of tread on those tires, and I don't know how he's going to look towards the end of the series. I still think it goes pretty far, 6 or 7.
I say 7. Maybe
Yeah,
like all games might go to like overtime. Like these teams are so equally matched just because you
yeah,
have LeBron and AD.
mm-hmm.
It's such a top heavy team versus a team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the whole Clippers are like a whole team, like 1 to 8.
mm-hmm.
They're like really good. So yeah, I just think the depth is just gonna come out clutch for them.
Yeah,
Even in games where Paul George like has a bad game, because Quiet doesn't have bad games in the playoffs.
mm-hmm.
So when Paul George has a bad game, other people will step up.
Yeah. You
And
like
yeah,
I don't care how good your team is. I don't care how good your superstar is. To win a championship, you need guys that can the third, fourth string, fifth string guys to step up and make some
yeah,
buckets happen. And I don't think the Lakers have one guy like that, except like unless Kuzma has a good game.
Kuzma, yeah,
Other than that, they don't. They just don't have anyone.
yeah. They overpaid on Danny Green. They
Yeah,
waited
they
too
did.
long. They
They
waited too
panicked because they
long.
thought they were getting Kawhi, and they're like, "Okay, we got
Yeah,
to make a signing, so let's sign Danny Green."
if they basically didn't go for Kawhi and sign some decent players,
Yeah,
they probably would be the favorites.
yeah,
But they missed out, and yeah, they're gonna have to address that in the off season because
mm-hmm.
they just have no creator besides LeBron.
Yeah.
Like
Not one, not one.
LeBron has to play 48 minutes a game in the playoffs
Yeah,
to
I
stand a chance.
I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but like, do you think AD sometimes doesn't play aggressively enough and doesn't try to create and look for his own shot enough? Like, I feel like in that series, I don't know if AD would have what it takes to kind of step up in the big moment and try to make something happen for his team. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a hater or anything because I love AD, but I'm just kind of wondering. He's never been in that kind of high leverage moment before.
Well, 80's playing power forward with another center that can't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just so much like he's his best is when he's going inside,
Yeah.
bullying people, scoring, and there's
Mm-hmm.
just 2 people on him all the time because Dwight Howard and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
JaVale McGee can't shoot. And then in the bubble, Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green can't shoot. So even when he's playing the five, people are still sagging and
That's fair.
coming to double him.
That's fair.
So Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma hit threes. Hey man, Anthony Davis might look like the best player on the court. But if they're
That
not
that
hitting threes,
that is fair. That is true.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so we
So we
both
have a
have Clippers going to the
Clippers
finals
Bucks.
against the Bucks.
I want to say Bucks so badly
Me
because
too.
I don't like that Kawhi left us to go to the Clippers.
Mm,
I know he got us a championship, but I'm still a little salty.
yeah.
But I just can't see that Clippers team losing.
No, I can't. I
Yeah,
can't see that happening because
but this
Kawhi
could go both
Leonard.
ways,
It
in
could
my
go both
opinion.
ways. It probably goes 7, I think.
Yeah, 7.
And but I think when it comes down to it, uh, I don't think the Bucks, even though the Bucks have play really, really good team defense, the Clippers are a different kind of team, man. Like they're just like every player is an ISO type player, can create their own shot. I don't know if the Bucks can. Like I know Giannis is a ridiculous defender, but I don't know if he can hang with like Kawhi or Paul George like
Ooh.
in space, like at the 3 point line. Not he can, but that's not
I don't
the
know,
type of defender that he is.
because
And Chris
with
Middleton's a really good defender.
Chris
Marvin
Middleton is a
Williams is
great defender. That's
Marvin
why.
Williams is still not too bad. Um, and Eric Bledsoe is one of the best point guard defenders in the league. So it would be a really good defensive series. There would not, I think it would be pretty low scoring. But I just picked the Clippers because I think end of game, Kawhi and Paul George are just the guys you want creating shots at the end of the game.
See, I don't think it's that. I think Giannis is by far the best player in that series,
I don't
better
know.
than Kawhi.
I still got Kawhi.
Why Paul George? I think that duo is equal to Giannis Middleton. I just think the bench scoring of the Clippers is
Mm-hmm.
so much better.
Oh, 100%, hundred
So I
percent.
think that will give them the tiny edge that they need to surpass the Bucks and win in seven
Mm-hmm.
games. But this is gonna be one of the best finals matchups, and I can see coming down to like a game winner. Even like it'll be crazy.
Honestly, you're right. But that's what I'm saying. Like end of the game, Giannis might. You say Giannis is a better player than Kawhi, which I could go both ways on. But end of the game, like Kawhi is the guy you want with the ball, not Giannis,
That's true. Yeah,
right? And I
yeah.
like because I think all those games are going to be single digit point games, and I think
Double
I just I
digits. Double digits. You mean?
no so like single digit like
Oh, difference.
right, you know what
Yeah,
I mean, like 1 or 3 or 4 point games coming down to the
yeah,
wire.
yeah,
And and I Kawhi's the guy I want. Like we saw him do it last year. We saw him do it with the Spurs. I just Kawhi's the guy. You know.
yeah. I think this will be probably the two best seasons in recent memory for like a playoff run if Kawhi wins, because he had
Yeah.
that great run with the Raptors,
Mm-hmm.
and in this run he beats Luka Doncic, uh, either Chris Paul or Jokic. Then he beats LeBron James. Then he beats
Mm-hmm.
Giannis,
Oh
who's
man.
probably the
Yeah.
MVP and deep defensive player of the year. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
legendary.
Yeah. Man, I can't like I'm so excited for this playoffs. It's like
Yeah,
there's just
August 17th.
so many awesome matchups. August 17th. So
Yeah,
that's a
a
week
week
from
from now.
today. So
Yeah,
we're gonna be
in the
basically
playoffs
in the playoffs.
next
Playoff games will
podcast.
probably have happened by the time we record next, so that's what we'll be talking about. And
Yeah,
we'll see. We're gonna see just how wrong we are on all these matchup predictions that we
yeah,
made. But as of right now, I'm pretty happy with what we said.
hmm
I don't know how you feel, but yeah,
yeah, same.
um, yeah. So I absolutely cannot wait. Thanks everyone for listening, and make sure to tune back next week when we are talking about the 2020 NBA playoffs.